back to One Startup World, our 2023 summer conference. It is the premier global startup conference dedicated to helping innovative and disruptive startups succeed. It is the perfect platform and meeting place for startup founders to pitch their ideas, gain valuable insights, and connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, industry experts, potential investors, and potential strategic partners as well, all learning from each other as we exchange our information. Next up on our docket here is Julian Alvarez. He is the founder and CEO of Wisdolia. He's joining us today from San Francisco. Julian, welcome. We look forward to your presentation and remarks.
Thank you, Glenn. Happy to be here and pitch the future. All right, so yeah, I'm a co-founder of Wisdolia, and at Wisdolia, really, we have the bold aim to transform the future of education, especially with today's unique advanced capabilities that AI offers. Now, that's a pretty bold bet to transform the future of education, and to do that, you're going to need a pretty awesome team. So we're a team of learning-obsessed builders that are relentless. My co-founder David and I lead the charge here. We're both second-time founders. We met as being roommates, and we've been building together for a year and a half in the learning and personal growth spaces. I focus on shipping code. I've been coding since I was 13, and have been a software engineer at LinkedIn Learning, my first exposure into the edtech world, and was also at the learning team at Meta. And then David and I are both second-time founders. I was previously at a startup called Vise as a CTO, which was like a Glassdoor for low-income workers. And David previously founded a learning platform and has had experience at Masterclass and Cisco. Now, apart from that, we have pretty good support on different levels. So we got accepted to Transcend, which is one of the best edtech incubator programs regarded by some investors. And we're also a part of an incubator in San Francisco named Founders Inc., which is actually where I am reporting live from. There's a ton of epic founders there, a lot of people doing cutting edge AI stuff. And then finally, we're working with a marketing agency called K&J, and they've helped several apps reach over 1 million users. So pretty excited for that. Now, in the future of education, core to education is learning. And we have a global learning problem, where we humans, for the most part, we kind of suck at processing the information we take in. And this is mainly because the human brain is one of the most complex organisms or objects in the universe, but it didn't come with an instruction manual. And in school, we were told what to learn, but no one ever taught us how to learn effectively. And so that leaves us with having a caveman brain in this information golden age. To go deeper here, when we passively read something, just 20 minutes after passively reading something, we only really remember 60% of the details. Here you can see this graph on the forgetting curve, and you see how steeply our retention of things drops off, where after a week, we only really remember 10% of the details. Now, it's important to note that this happens when we passively consume information. And when we passively consume, most of the knowledge never reaches our long-term memory. Right, so the goal here is to go from short-term to long-term memory. But what happens is during passive learning, right, if you're just reading, watching, or listening to something without much engagement, not a lot of information gets encoded and goes to the long-term memory. But when we engage actively, right, this can be like active recall through flashcards, or teaching this to someone, for example, or engaging in a debate, or having a tutor to ask questions to. These forms of active learning really are more effective. Now, specifically, this is a really big pain for students because they have so much stuff they need to learn. Like even for just one exam, they have to go through countless hours of lectures, a ton of vocabulary terms, go through textbook readings, a lot of homework that they have to review. And that's just for one exam in one class. So then for us at Wisdolia, what we're really doing is taking the latest research in how we learn, the latest learning science and how we learn, and combining it with today's unprecedented AI capabilities to build an AI learning co-pilot that, one, creates an interactive and personalized learning experience from any material you're trying to learn, right? This could be an article, a PDF, a YouTube video, and creating a rich experience out of that. And secondly, it makes it easier than ever to engage in active learning techniques that specifically help you process more knowledge into your long-term memory. That's the goal of the AI Learning Copilot here. And the very first version of what we've launched here is a Chrome extension that uses AI to generate flashcards with questions and answers. And it works for any YouTube video, article, or PDF. And the main value proposition here is that for people that create flashcards, it only takes them 1/10 of the time as it did before. Very simple walkthrough of how it works is that you could be watching or reading something you want to learn, you generate flashcards and quiz yourself on something you find valuable. And I'll give you a super quick demo here. Let's say we wanted to watch this video of Steve Jobs' commencement. Well, we can go ahead and open the extension. I've already generated flashcards, but I'll do it again. I can select the minute range of what I want, how many flashcards I actually want here. And then I hit generate flashcards. This is going to take the transcript from the YouTube video and immediately start generating a set of questions and answers that I can look through, right? I can look at the answer here to see what's actually happening. I can edit it if I want. I can go ahead and save it to whichever deck I'd like. And then, of course, I can go and review my saved cards and kind of review them through, where the review features are still pretty basic right now. But it's a little bit of the overview of how it works. And so we launched this in February 5 months ago and began monetizing 2 months ago. And so far in the spring semester, we achieved 68% week over week growth in our weekly active users, getting up to 5,000. And we've gotten over 50,000 downloads. And after starting to monetize 2 months ago, we have over 500 paying subscribers with 8K in revenue. And out of the people that subscribe, we have around 89% retention in the paid plan. Now, where this brings us is that we've started with flashcards, and flashcards were a really great start for us because one, they're very widely used, right? Some studies report that 62% of students use flashcards, so very widely used. And two, it's a very simple and easy active learning technique to understand and to use. However, based on learning science, there's a couple limitations that flashcards have. For one, they're static, which means that if you're confused about something and it's not really helpful, right? You can't change it or ask a question to the flashcard, for example. And then finally, it's more so focused. Flashcards are focused on remembering isolated facts rather than really helping you achieve a deep understanding about something. So our next big play here is to improve learning effectiveness with what we call smart cards. Now, what you're looking at here is called Bloom's taxonomy. It's a learning framework that kind of highlights that there's 6 different cognitive processes that happen when we learn. And from the bottom to the top of the pillar, the higher we go up the pyramid, the more high order level learning we're engaging in. And the higher order level we engage in, the more effective the learning, the more effective the encoding of information from short-term to long-term will be. And just to give you an example, flashcards mainly play at this remember level, like what is the capital of France, for example. But then there's understand, right? Like explain how something works or apply it, like, hey, solve this practice problem. Or analyze it, would identify the relationship between something or break it down, or evaluate it, just see what are the pros and cons, when do you use something, when do you not, all the way to create a new piece of information, a new idea, or designing an experiment to test something. And this is exactly what we aim to tackle with smart cards. Now, this is still pretty early product thinking, but the way, just to paint a little picture of how this could work is, one, you still have these questions as you would in a flashcard. But one, they're like higher order levels of questions that you would get. And now instead of just being able to view the answer, you can answer it either by writing or by speaking it out. Then you can check the answer. And when you do that, you get real-time feedback. You get an immediate evaluation by the AI that tells you what did you get right, what did you not get right, and what did you maybe fail to consider. So immediate feedback is core to the learning experience there. And then finally, you have a set of follow-up smart actions that you can take. So for example, you can ask your own question if you have something you still don't understand, or maybe you want to receive recommendations on videos to help you understand this better, or taking the data we have on what you've learned and what you find most interesting and valuable or how you learn, we can create a personalized analogy and explanation to help you understand this better. And of course, there could be other options here, like engage in a debate or teach this to an AI that simulates being a 5-year-old, etc. So that's smart cards. So now that's a little bit of our product thinking, but how are we going to grow this, right? Like, what's our go-to-market here? And our bold goal is to reach 750K students by the end of the year. And there's four main pillars on which we aim to achieve that. The first is paid marketing, particularly influencer marketing on TikTok. And we've already done this and it's worked pretty well. We've achieved around a $10 customer acquisition cost compared to a $62 LTV. And by the way, most of our growth has been organic, like 80% of it has. We've only spent $3,000 on marketing to get the 50,000 users because most of it has been organic. But with influencer marketing, we've seen a lot of success here. So we want to augment that and scale that. Second, we want to create our own content to achieve even better CACs. Third, to tap into network effects of student communities, we want to run campus ambassador programs. And finally, to achieve viral loops within the product, we want to do product-led growth initiatives, such as making cards or a deck of cards shareable. And of course, in the future, we'll also go the B2B2C approach of selling this to schools or universities to achieve even greater growth and monetization. Now, this is a massive market that we're tackling. And overall, we're solving a learning problem. So we're tackling a global learning market here. We're starting off with students, and specifically college students, which there's 220 million of them, and at its $62 LTV, that's a potential market of 13 billion. I think there's like 620 middle school and high school students, and then there's 1 billion knowledge workers, which will eventually expand into. So huge market, and the edtech market overall is growing a lot, 14% year over year. So huge opportunity there. And finally, the competition here. It's somewhat of a competitive space. The giant here is Quizlet, and then there's smaller startups like Saveall and Note. With Quizlet, I think I'm not as concerned with them as I am with the smaller startups. I think for them, they've been pretty slow overall. They only released their AI flashcards feature a couple weeks ago, and it only works with text. And I think overall, any startup's advantage is the agility that they have over them. Quizlet also is very focused on flashcards, and moving away from your core product is never easy. For us, flashcards are just one of the many active learning techniques that we plan to activate. And then for Saveall and Note, they also do AI generated flashcards, so they're more on an equal level with us. And I really think it's whoever has a better team and the better vision and can execute on it best is going to win. And we have a hell of a team to make it work. So yeah, that's Wisdolia. We invite you to join us on this ambitious quest to transform the future of learning. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks. It's going to be really hard, but we have a hell of a team to take a shot on goal. So yeah, we invite you to join and come on board the rocket ship.
Thank you, Julian. Nice job. Nice job. Great presentation. Great product, helping really empowering students throughout the process for sure. I love flashcards, so
there you go.
I'm a big proponent of a little bit of information in a small space, and the more you have, the better. The fact that you're moving towards a kind of a smart card environment, kind of building on Bloom's taxonomy there, I thought was pretty fascinating as you go. And whether that they're self-populated or you write your own answers, the fact that you're getting feedback right away is quite extraordinary. So lots of promise as it goes through. Now, you said you're a second-time founder here, so you've gone through the entrepreneurial cycle. So you're not that you're an old hand, but you've got some experience in working through it. How about from your side? Any strategic partnerships you're using? Anybody you're working with? You said obviously your team looks great. Any kind of advisory board members or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have the two co-founders. We have the Transcend Network, which is an edtech sort of an incubator, and we have Founders Inc., this space where I work out of. And we're currently in conversations with learning science PhDs. I'm actually meeting with one for a second call in 15 minutes. So I think that's one of the last big missing pieces to the puzzle in our team, is having someone that really deeply understands the learning science of how we learn, so we can embed a lot of those insights into our product and really help create super learners that can retain or understand anything 10 times better and faster.
Right now, currently you talk about 750,000 as the goal for the students for the end of the year. Now those are single students, correct? It's kind of self customer, if you will, kind of through. from a bulking it up standpoint, and you talked about universities, middle schools and things, any appetite to go kind of look at local school districts, whether you're in cities or central school districts or anything like that, as a potential learning tool for them and their teachers and
Yes,
students?
100%. We 100% want to go to universities and school districts. And our approach or thinking right now is that it's better to start B2C, like directly to students, because we'll be able to just see how well the product works. And it's going to give us credibility and leverage whenever we do sell to these universities. So for example, we see that we have 50 students at X university. Whenever we go and talk to that university, we can say like, you already have 50 students on here. Why not give it to all of them? So yeah.
Right. No, sounds like a great number of possible partnerships for sure. Going forward. Well, listen, Julian, thank you for joining us today here at One Startup World. We appreciate your presentation. We wish you and Wisdolia all the best going forward. Great. You're doing some great work here. Thanks for joining us today. Everybody, Julian Alvarez, founder and CEO of Wisdolia. Best of luck.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Glenn. Appreciate the time and space. I'll catch you all later.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.